Okay. Catherine Koehler, I'm the Good Witch.
And what is the Good Witch?
It's a French term that we kind of equate now with the wise woman or the good wife. She kind of connected by association the fact that she had sheep, she would dye the wool, so she has her garden because she grows her plants for dyeing, but she also uses herbs for dyes. And so it's all kind of an association of farm animals with the garden and the sheep and the spinning and weeding.
I have to wonder, during the Middle Ages, there was some burning of witches.
Witches.
Or
That was actually, I did some research, and it wasn't really until after the trade routes opened up with the Middle East that the term of witching and the good witch started to um, diminish, because at that point, historically, the merchants who were dealing in herbs and spices became much more knowledgeable because they actually had um, more spices and herbs to choose from. If you think about the Middle East, they've got ginseng and ginkgo, and so when they started opening up those trade routes, then those became the the doctors or the ones who knew all the medicine to use. So that's when the witches started to kind of fall out of favor.
is that professional competition that led to that, or
I think it was more religious.
yes? Okay.
The only people who would keep gardens and maintain herbs for medicinal uses were the Benedictine monks,
Hmm.
and then of course the merchants. So the church started to frown upon the whole idea of going outside the church for healing. Of course, their initial impression is it has to come from a higher source, and the witches were doing voodoo, so to speak. So
And what is your day like typically here when you get up and arrive?
first thing is I get greeted by the dog, and she is bouncing around, and she usually slides right into me and just makes me smile, and we play a little bit in the morning because she's just so anxious because she's been up guarding all night. She actually guards the sheep at night. So she's just ready for a little bit of interaction with humans, just a little teeny bit, not much, because she is
She's a
really,
working dog.
she's a working dog.
Okay.
So she still keeps her distance from us. So that's kind of the only time during the day that I can really connect to her. So we get her fed, and then we take care of the sheep. And there's always the sheep that Joan sticks her head out the door every morning so that I can scratch her on the ears right before I open them up.
Is she among
Let 'em
this
out.
crowd behind
She
you?
is.
Okay.
She's kind of the alpha sheep.
Gotcha.
And I've kind of gotten into a habit now. I watch because they come out in the same order every single morning. It's always Joan, then Jules, then Babs, and then Noemi. So it's every morning. Every morning it's the exact same order of sheep. So
And do you shear the sheep?
we shear the sheep. We have some old-fashioned shears that would have. They don't date back to the 13th century, but the style dates back to the 13th century. And we've got a lot to learn because it takes us about an hour with two people to shear one sheep. And I'm sure it didn't take them quite that long back then.
But you're learning.
We're learning.
And then you go over here, I guess, and you work the wool. Is that right?
We do. We spin it, weave it, dye it. We can make felt out of it. We can do also linen. There were really only two fibers that were predominant in Europe at this time, and that was wool with a little bit of linen. And the linens were used for threads and such. So there was a small amount of linen cloth. But the wool, believe it or not, was actually cool and warm. I know we kind of use wool for a warm weather, a warm fabric for colder weather, but it can be actually very cool depending on how it's spun or how it's manufactured.
Excellent. Anything else about your experience here that you'd like to say?
It's the best job I've ever had, and that's genuine. It's a chance for me to think and think a little outside the box sometimes. I had opportunities to kind of solve problems initially because it was setting up something that had not been set up before. Had to decide how to build the fireplace, how to solve the irrigation problem of the water sitting in the bottom of the fire pit and still needing to be able to make a fire, or how to get the stuff out of the pot without a stainless steel colander. So it's really been enriching because I'm still learning, and then it gives me an opportunity to research more. Um, and I still get to teach. I still get to play with the kids. I get to play with my animals. It's it's like I said, the very best job I've ever had.
Thank you very much.